Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call?
Mary Seminara.
James Meyer.
Norma Drummond?
Tara Franco.
Thank you. Can everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. The first part of our agenda, actually, there's a decision that essentially has no new action on it, but we will have one public hearing on this evening, so if there's any neighbors that got notice, you'll have an opportunity to comment on that one application that's before the board. The board did have an opportunity to review that application already, but then the rest of our agenda is pretty much reviews, pretty much the first time that we're seeing most of these applications. So, we do have one set of minutes to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of January 23rd as amended? There are a couple amendments.
So moved as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I should mention that our next two meetings coming up are Tuesday, March 27th, and Tuesday, April 24th. All right, so item number one is this decision through Appeal 3804 DiPaolo. Stephen DiPaolo is requesting an 80-foot front line variance for a proposed 7,200-square-foot building at 237 Route 216 Stormville. Any update at all on this? Have we heard anything from DEC? Okay, just a reminder that this is one where the planning board and the zoning board together submitted, well, I guess through the applicant submitted a request for DEC to reconsider. Okay, so item number two is a public hearing, Appeal 3860, Morgan Pena. Joanna Morgan and Fred Pena, 2 Kane Drive, Stormville, are requesting an interpretation of what is considered a front yard for a corner lot pursuant to Section 194-100 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Morgan and Pena here?
No.
Okay, well, they weren't here last month either, Tom, just so you know, because I know you weren't here, but we decided to have a little discussion anyway, and then to open up for a public hearing. This is a household that has a house on a corner lot that was probably subdivided back in the 70s. And the subdivision map itself directed where within that subdivision, certain lots had to have driveways off of the inner roads, Ritter Road and Kane. As opposed to on the main road, they're just trying to minimize how many driveways are on the main road there. And, you know, our interpretation regarding corner lots has always been that there's 2 front yards when your property is on a corner with 2 streets. So, any other discussion?
No other discussion? I don't know if any,
I mean, it's not specific to what he's proposing to do here. They didn't ask, for a variance or anything like that, so that's not before us.
yeah.
It's-
I don't have any further discussion. Do we just want to make sure no one's here on that issue?
Sure.
Okay.
Just wanted to see if there was any discussion from board members, but I think we've faced this issue before. We even had one house that had frankly 4 front yards.
Yeah.
And, we were very careful in making sure that the builder first and then the owners there understood that they had 4 front yards. So, all right, so is there anyone here who wishes to give any assistance with the board's interpretation of what is a front yard? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close and, right? We should, yeah, because
Well,
we
is
don't have
that-
a written decision.
Okay, okay. I
So
thought you
close
said-
and reserve our decision
Yes.
until the next meeting.
So moved.
We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
So I have a
No, I was just
motion.
thinking, pretty
Is
much
there-
our interpretation was on the record, so that's what I was wondering.
Second. Second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, so item number 3, there are no more public hearings, so no more public comment. These are the board's opportunity to review the rest of these applications. So number 3, Appeal 3859, Adusi, I don't want to say the name wrong. That's right? Okay. Krista and Kawami Adusi, 41 Brothers Road, Stormville, are requesting a 10-foot sideline variance for a proposed 10-foot by 16-foot shed and a 7-foot sideline variance for proposed pool equipment pursuant to Sections 194-107B2 and 194-95 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so this is really the first that we're getting a chance to review your application with
Yeah.
you. If you don't mind just taking us through what it is that you're asking us to consider.
So the property is a very lean 2 acres. I think about 2 years ago, we went through the process of extending the backyard. We went through the application with the DEC to do so, and they did allow us to put a 10 by 16 shed
Okay.
on the property. Now, what we are trying to do is put in a pool, but in terms of safety, move the shed.
Okay?
So what we are thinking is moving the shed to the opposite side of the fence, and so that we can put a play set where the pool is at right now. So the pool equipment and the shed are going to be within the setbacks, I think about 5 feet from the setback, as opposed to the 25 that is required.
So it's going to be 5 feet from the property line?
From the property line,
Or 5 feet
exactly.
into that 25-foot setback?
It's going to be 5 feet in the property line. It's very
Okay.
close.
I think we're still miscommunicating. You
Yeah.
have to be 25 feet away, you're going to be 20, is that what you're saying?
We're going to be 5.
You're going to be 5.
That's not what
5.
you've asked for here. This says you're going to be 7, well, no, it says you're asking for a 7-foot variance, which means you're going to be 18 feet away.
Yeah.
And then we need to amend that. It's going to be 5 feet. It's very close to the
Right.
property line.
Then you need to explain to us, why does it need to be so close? I understand, you want to put a play
Yeah,
equipment
it's
in.
just a tight property, and, in terms of space, there's not a lot of space in the backyard because the entire front yard is all leach field. So we don't have a lot of space in the back. Once we start putting a pool equipment, patio, it takes the entire green space that is left in the back. So we're trying to maximize the space as much as possible by just corner it as far as possible.
Okay, where is this wetland? For the
Probably
buffer, I
about,
guess.
I would say it's probably about 20 feet away from the...
Back of your house?
Yes,
So is your pool going to be in it?
part of it is going to be.
Okay, do you have New York State DEC's approval to do that?
So when we started the application, called multiple times, had multiple conversations with multiple people in the
Okay.
zoning department. I was told that they were going to check in with the DEC, get back to me if there's anything that will come up. Obviously, I was
You were
aware.
told by DEC
No, I was
that?
told by someone in the zoning department here.
Okay, then we don't usually make the phone calls to DEC.
I think it was a town
Okay,
engineer.
all right.
Okay.
Oh, Michelle, the town
So-
planner did? Okay, she did reach out.
So
Oh, you're right.
we
she
were
sent
told
me
that
a
if
note.
anything came up, they would give us a call. So my wife called in Monday, pursuing the meeting today, and we were told that we needed a DEC application that we had to go through for an extension to move the shed and everything. So we are in touch with someone to do so.
Okay.
But I did ask, I think I had an opportunity to speak with Pam, I believe.
Okay, Pam's our clerk.
And Pam did tell me that it's a two-step process, so most likely I have to come back,
Okay.
so.
Well, any application is a two-step process. There's a review first by the board, and then we schedule it for a public hearing.
Sure.
In your case, you're talking about a three-step process because you have to deal with an outside agency first.
Okay.
Okay, we shouldn't even be considering your application until we know for sure that New York State DEC is even going to allow
Yeah.
the structures to go where you're proposing them to be. So, but the town planner did have a conversation. She sent an email to Pam late this afternoon. I spoke with New York State DEC about the existing permit. The only activity authorized by the existing permit was 157 square feet of area of disturbance to the adjacent area, which included the removal of an existing fence, the installation of a new gated fence 50 feet from the wetland, and the installation of a 16-foot by 10-foot shed. more than 50 feet from the wetland. Any change to this disturbance will require a new permit from New York State DEC. The applicant should contact New York State DEC and send revised plans showing exact disturbance area and any new structures.
Yep.
According to New York State DEC, the old permit has expired and can't be reissued. Therefore, a new permit will be required. The applicant should obtain a permit from New York State DEC prior to the zoning board considering the
Yep.
application.
I had a conversation with a gentleman named Chris in the New Paltz
Okay, that's their office,
So we just started the process, 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay.
So hopefully I should hear something back from them as soon as possible.
Do we have any sense of timing from how DEC, how quickly they've been acting on things? All right. All right, so tell me a little bit about the topography of your lot in the back. Is it flat? Is it steep? Is it rocky? I'm trying to understand why your limitations of where, why the equipment and everything has to be so close to the neighbor.
It's flat now. Part of the process of the disturbance that we did last time, I think it was a permit that was granted October of 2015 through November of 2016, which obviously has expired, was for us to actually extend the backyard
Okay.
from that 20 feet that was from the property to another, I think, I might be getting my numbers wrong, but it was about 60 feet
Okay.
from the existing line. So we did so. We cleared the backyard. That was part of the process, and also added the fence and the shed. So we paid the permit for the fence and for the shed.
Okay.
So all we're trying to do right now is pretty much kind of like a rectangle. We don't have a lot of space between neighbors. Neighbors are right on top of us. We have a lot of space, 2 acres behind us.
That's what we have to
So-
worry about. How close is your closest neighbor's house? I mean, we have the dimensions, your plans. You
Yeah.
provided those with your application, so that's fine. It looks very, very
Yeah,
nice.
so from the fence, we're just 2 feet on the right and about 40 feet on the left, on our neighbors on the left.
You're 2 feet from
Yeah,
the...
2 feet
Property
from the
line?
property line. Yeah.
Here's the tax map.
Okay, so, but wait a second. If we're talking now 2 feet instead of 5 feet, instead
Well-
of 10 feet,
No, it's really a 20-foot variance. Your shed's supposed to be
20-foot variance.
20-foot variance,
okay.
because it's,
Because
the
it's 5
fence is
feet
in,
off.
the fence is in 2 feet, and then they're proposing the shed 3 feet in from the fence.
Just 3 feet even from the fence, actually.
Yeah,
That's
so
about
that's
it.
5 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to reduce it from 25 to 5, which would be a
20.
20-foot, right?
So the request, though, was for a 10-foot side lane variance for the shed, which
Which
is,
is-
which is really,
That should be 20,
that's going to be 20.
yeah.
And so the 7-foot that was for the pool equipment is now going to be a 23-foot variance?
Is the pool equipment.
It's right in the corner. So,
It's
yeah.
seven.
But wait a second, but this is inside the fence,
It's
so it's
inside
not
the
going to be
fence.
closer than the fence. The fence is going to be,
Right.
Yeah, the
But
fence is only 2
but the
feet.
fence
feet
is
in.
okay, but
Yeah,
it
the
is
fence is
behind the
okay, yeah.
shed.
Right.
Okay, and so you do realize, by putting it behind the shed, you're screening the noise from you, but you're now reflecting the noise to your neighbor.
It's in the corner.
Put on the
We,
other side of the shed, it wouldn't be.
right now, what we did was that we went through an architect to put that together for us. We're just trying to find what would be the best way to actually maximize that space, right? And that's what he came up with. So it is the furthest away from the property as possible.
Yeah, he owns all this property,
Right.
right? So it should go over there, yeah, okay. I had it
Can you
backwards.
step up here for a
Sure.
second? We just want to see something. Why can't, because I think this is the house, this is the side of your lot where your neighbor's over here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so instead of being here, where again, the noise is now bouncing off of the shed and going to them, why can't the pool equipment be here?
Because what we want to do is put the pool equipment away as,
But you're
Away from the
setting it to
property.
your neighbors, that's,
That's the
That's what our
problem. You
issue is.
deserve the noise, not your neighbor. That's what we're saying. You don't want to see it, but
you
you're gonna.
still wouldn't see it. I don't
You-
think you'd still see it. You can still
You
screen
can
it.
screen it for yourself, but you're saying you don't want to see it, but you're going to make your neighbors see it.
This is just a plan. We have no problem putting it over there.
Oh,
We have no
okay,
problem
all right.
putting it over there,
Okay.
Right?
Because
That's-
then the shed is stopping you know, it's deflecting the noise back as opposed to bouncing it off and sending it into your neighbor's
Yeah,
lot.
we have no problem putting it over there. The reason why
Over
we just
here.
cornered the shed and there was space there to put the pool equipment was because it just allows us to take care of maintenance of the lawn, because the
Yeah.
pool will be right there, so that was the only
And
reason
then-
why we put it back there.
Quite honestly, we could cat-a-corner the fence back there and, because if
Right.
this is,
You don't, well, I'm not so worried about that.
well, just,
Because the fence is 2 feet away.
The fence is
Legally, you
fine.
can
fence
do
isn't
that.
the issue.
Yeah, the fence is not the
Legally, you can
issue.
do
The
that.
fence is not the issue. Okay.
So, yeah. And then you reduced your required variance for the pool equipment by quite a bit.
Does the pool equipment have to be 25 feet
Yes.
away?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
Yep. Okay, if you don't mind, go back to the.
Just so we
your
can understand
microphone
it.
is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's now, the pool equipment would need a variance that's now on the far side of the shed, not the side that's closest to the property line.
Correct, so it's gonna be a lot less.
And what's the dimensions of the shed, 10 by 16?
Yep.
Yes.
So if that's the 16-foot direction, it's going to be some,
Diagonally.
yeah.
Only 25.
So you're probably saving.
You could double the distance at
Right.
least. You have to look at it and get your measurements to us, but, just on a review without making a decision, it's gonna be a lot easier for us if you get it away from your neighbor.
But you're
mean
you're
the
also
pool
looking
equipment.
now at putting a concrete pad also in the wetland buffer. So again, you're going to need DEC
DEC
sign off
approval.
on that as well. So they may
Absolutely.
have some say on that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, of course.
So I think, honestly, it's a little premature for us to look at this.
Oh, of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
It was fine to just get a handle on
Yeah.
what it is that you're looking for. Again, our suggestion would be to move it over to minimize the sound impact on your neighbor.
Yeah.
How close is your neighbor's house to the property line?
This is 2017.
Probably about 30 or about
Okay.
30, 35 feet
Okay.
away from the property
And
line.
is there any screening there, any vegetation, any trees, any?
We plan to put vegetation over there
7.
as part of the plan.
I can see that, but
Yeah, you're putting it in the front where you'd screen the pool, but again, not the back of the shed. The shed is going to be very visible to them as well.
The back of the shed is going to be
Yeah.
very visible, yeah.
And it's still a concern, that's all.
Meaning without vegetation?
Well, if they had screening, if they had trees, if they had something there and they didn't have to see that structure, it's less imposing on them. So,
Well, with the proposal of moving the pool equipment, I don't think it will be a problem putting vegetation in the behind
you can
the
certainly put a
shed
tree or two
as a
there.
compromise, yeah.
that would make, I think that would go a long way. What
Okay.
color is the shed?
Kind of like a cream color,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
yeah, just some suggestions.
Okay.
For when you come back, as long as the DEC approves.
Does well, obviously, the noise level of the pool equipment matters, but if we found something that was close to as least noisy as possible, would that have any impact on leaving as is?
No, you need to keep it away as much as you can from the property line. It looks like you have a good alternative.
Okay,
Yeah, our interest is always to minimize the impact on your neighbor. And so if you can minimize, make it less by putting it on the other side of the shed. Now, if you talk to your neighbor and, the neighbors doesn't have an issue with it, that would help with our decision, but you do have another alternative. So
Okay.
let's have you explore that first.
absolutely.
All right?
Yeah, legally, we're obligated to minimize as much as possible. You have to show why it has to go where you want it.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
All right, so we're going to let you deal with DEC.
Yes.
And then you'll come back, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see what it
Next
is that
meeting,
they're
okay.
going to allow you to do, okay? And
Which
then
is, the 27th of March?
Our next meeting would be the 27th of March,
All
right?
right, perfect.
Let's hope you get an answer. Unfortunately, we have no control over that, so
I've dealt with them before, so I know
Okay.
what I'm stepping into.
you're prepared.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see-
Good luck.
Hopefully, we'll see you next month. Okay, item number 4, Appeal 3861, Parator. Alberto and Mary Parator, 109 Broadway, Hopewell Junction, are requesting a 2-foot variance for an existing 6-foot fence in front of the front line of the house pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
So again, this is the first time we're seeing your application. If you don't mind just taking us through
Okay.
why,
I just need some clarification on the front line of the house.
Okay.
What does that exactly mean?
is your fence, it runs down the side of your driveway or the side of your yard?
Yes, it does.
Ah, this is this lot. You have a flag lot.
Yes,
So the question becomes, yes, where is the front of your house?
right. The front of the
Again, based on
house
previous discussion.
is on the west side, or actually the east side.
Facade of your house
Oh.
is facing your driveway, but the front of your lot is the side of the lot that's closest to the street.
Gotcha.
So that's your front yard.
Okay.
And so any fence, you're talking about the enclosure, the pet enclosure?
Yes.
Yeah, so any fence that's now in front of that, for you, it's
That's-
actually your side of your house.
Right.
Is in your front yard,
It is. Okay.
okay?
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so on the south side of that is my neighbors. I have two neighbors. There's two houses on that lot. And that 27-foot area there, it slopes down. So the fence actually sits down from my neighbor's lot. So you can get a better idea of how the fence is sitting down there.
Why does this fence need to be here?
For my dogs. It's a dog yard fence.
But you've got other room in your yard, so,
Well, I really don't. That's the only area. I mean, it looks like it's huge, but there's a slope on the north side. Yeah, it drops down into like a ravine, which is
we
not
don't have
evident on the
contours,
map.
we just have an aerial and we just have your survey.
Yeah,
So I don't get a sense of the topography.
so,
This is the only flat area?
correct.
Okay. Can I ask, why are you here? Because it's existing already. Did one of your neighbors complain?
No, we were told by,
The
what was his name, Max?
Max, the inspector, because we were
Yeah, because
trying,
it's a 6-foot
well,
fence.
he was supposed to come do, we're trying to enclose our deck.
Oh, and he did.
Oh,
He
got
came
it.
out to look at
Okay.
it, but never did
Because
install
if
the
nobody's
fence.
complained about this, generally you won't, people
Been there 10
won't- you're
years.
trying to sell your house or something.
Oh, no, nothing
Okay.
like that, no.
Got it.
And the dogs are two huskies, they're fence climbers, that's why it's 6 and not
They
4.
can jump, so
Oh, yeah,
they climb. Yeah.
and they run away too, so.
The building department's assessment of this fence is it's really not in great shape. So, that's what I was told, at least. How old is it?
It's about 12 years. 10? Oh, 10 years, sorry.
Okay. All right, so your intention is to keep it there. Would you expect that when you sell the lot, you're going to keep it, or do you think you would take it down?
No, I'm probably going to take it down, once the dogs, I have 2 of
That
them,
will
so,
help, but
when they
the
pass.
house that's in front of you, how close is that house to the property line?
That's a good question. I would say probably about 20 feet. Yeah, which house are you talking about? We're surrounded by
Your front property
homes.
line, which is closest to the road.
Closest to the road,
How-
okay.
How close is their house between you and the road? How close are they to you?
It looks like Mossy might be their name?
At least 20, at least that's the 27 feet plus another
To the road.
20, so almost like 40 feet.
From your property line. What I'm wondering is how impactful is the dogs
But that's not
barking
should be
on your
regularly
neighbor?
shaped.
Oh, they don't bark.
No,
But-
they don't bark.
Just how-
Yeah.
Their dog barks.
It's the smaller dogs
But
that
we don't
bark more,
complain
believe it or not.
because,
That I
you
know,
Right.
so,
Yeah,
No, there's
yeah.
plenty of space. It's just an
Yeah.
odd-shaped lot.
right.
Yeah,
And are the two houses on that other lot, there's people living in both houses?
yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
one lot, 2 separate residents, though, owned by one person.
Town line.
Yeah.
Town of Wampus, what's that?
I don't know, what do you think? I mean, it's been there,
Yeah.
and if,
And they're
so
so
you're,
far from the road, actually.
where is your sewer, I'm sorry, where's your septic, where's,
My septic is on the other side, on the north
Opposite.
side of the house.
okay. So that's just the tank clean out, or
Just
where are the
that
fields?
Yeah.
There are no fields, it's a, what is that, cesspool?
Cesspool? Oh, okay. I don't know, okay for public hearing?
Yeah.
Let's hear what the
Fine.
neighbors say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so motion,
Motion for public hearing at our next meeting of March 27th?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Pam will give you your instructions.
Okay.
So you can put up a sign, and then we'll see you next month. To the extent that you can talk to your neighbors ahead of time and make sure
Yeah,
that they
sure.
don't have any issue, that would be helpful.
Sure, no
All
problem.
right, thank
Did-
you.
Did you want that in writing, or?
If you can get a letter from them, sure, we'll enter
Great,
it into the
okay.
record, and it saves them having to come, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
that would be
great.
fine. Pam will give you your instructions. Thank you. Item number 5, Appeal 3862 Flick. Joseph Flick, 56 Wintergreen Place, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 1-foot variance for an existing 5-foot fence pursuant to Section 194-98 of the zoning ordinance.
Hello.
Good evening. So, you've been here before,
Yes, about
before you
maybe
put up the fence.
2.5 years ago, yeah.
And I believe at that time, we asked you to get a survey of your property.
I had a survey before that I provided initially.
Okay.
I needed more measurements. Then for the next meeting, I was
Right,
out
to
of the
show where the
country and I had
structures were,
an
right.
engineer come in. And I guess there was, at that point, more measurements needed. So at that point, I was traveling a lot. I withdrew the application. And then it wasn't until recently that I think Ray paid me a visit to close out one of his files and said, hey, by the way, I still have this open, and you should get a variance for it as,
Was the fence up at the time that you originally applied? I don't think it was.
no, it was not.
So you just
No.
went ahead, you withdrew your application and went ahead and put up the fence?
Yeah, well, I was traveling, and my wife was handling the affair, so it got built.
Okay. And so you have an existing 5-foot fence. I don't see that we have a picture of the fence. Do you have one, a picture of what it looks like?
I left with,
Pam,
that
do you
might
have
be
a
with the
picture of the
building
application?
application.
So it's the white?
It's a 5-foot white, 4-rail, post and rail, vinyl.
Was this the fence? The bottom one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of it.
This is the barn.
And so again, the issue is your front yard. Because your house does not face the street, right? Your house appears to be facing off to the side, or does it face to the front?
It does face to the front. Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm pretty far back off the end of the
Street's there
cul-de-sac,
and
but it does face the street.
Street's here. So street's here. Here's that loop.
That small loop in front of the house is part of my driveway.
Oh, yeah, the street.
I have a larger
Okay.
one if you want to see that.
So what's the length of fence that's running?
I think it's over 1,000 linear feet, because it runs pretty much the side and back of the whole yard.
Is that fence encroaching on the wetland buffer? Looks to me like it might be in the wetland buffer.
It might be, yeah.
Do you have a permit from New York State DEC to
Yep, I
encroach on the?
provided that
You
with
did?
the
Thank
the
you.
application.
Let me see. Okay,
Yeah, it's DEC, okay, on the
yep,
fence.
yeah, so they approved it back in 2015. Okay. And it appears that there's screening in front of it. You have a lot of vegetation on your lot, so,
Yeah, I have, on the fence, we have a 1-inch black welded wire, because we have 2 German Shepherds, so they could easily get through it. Other animals can get into it, so we have it all enclosed.
okay. Well, again, having the animals that is important to keep them caged in, that helps with your application, actually, so.
Yeah, more than anything, I'm concerned about animals and children. I have 4 small kids under 12.
Comments or questions from board members?
I have none.
Nope. So, okay for a public hearing?
I move for a public hearing for our next meeting of March 27th.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Pam can give you your instructions for your sign, and then we'll see you next month. Again, to the extent that you can talk to your neighbors would be helpful. All right, item number 6, Appeal 3863 Heitman, Gregory Heitman, 17 East Hook Cross Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 13-foot front line variance for an existing sunroom and a variance for a pool located in front of the house pursuant to Sections 194-94 and 194-95 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Hello?
So we did see you a couple months ago,
Last year, yeah.
last year, okay, and asked you to get a survey of your
That's
property.
correct, yes.
Okay, so you had a number of structures that you had constructed without permits on your property. And so we just needed to, we need to understand that, putting a pool in
Yes.
requires a certain number of inspections. Putting a deck on a house requires a certain number of inspections. So we need to be sure
Yes.
that the house is safe and the pool, et cetera, are safe. So, all right, so since we last met with you, you've gotten a survey done.
Yes.
So that we now have a better sense of the structures that need attention. So the existing sunroom, and yours is another house where it's oriented where the front.
the night of the front
facade
yard,
the house,
yes.
yeah, exactly, is not facing the front yard because you've got an internal road.
Yes.
And driveway that kind of loop around and bring you to the front of your house, but you still have a front yard.
Yes.
On the other side, so we have to deal with the 50-foot requirement there. So for a 13-foot front line variance, that means it's 37.8 feet. Okay, so that's clear. Is there screening around the sunroom? It appears there's a retaining wall there.
Yeah, it drops off quite,
Is there, your house is up from
yeah,
the
it's up,
road.
it's probably about 30 feet above the
So
road.
somebody driving by doesn't necessarily
Right.
see it because there's
correct.
vegetation in the road there, and then the structures are elevated. Okay, so again, that helps. Okay, and then, so this variance for the sunroom, he does not have a permit for the sunroom, or at this point, no, he doesn't, okay. And then for the pool. And so the issue for the pool is that it's located in front of the house.
Allegedly.
Not allegedly, well, that's a good question. That's such an
That's the
angle. what's
street, yes, it's an angle. So, do we go by the angle of the house?
Yes, that's the front of the house, or is that the front of the house?
Well, without the sunroom, the
Front
front
of
of the house
the,
is
the front
back.
door of the house is directly on the other side.
Understood,
We
but
understand
that's-
that, we're trying to figure legally what the statute says your
Yeah.
front yard is.
Okay,
If builders knew what the problems they're creating by doing this.
tell me about the rest of your lot. Is it flat, does it
No,
keep
it's
going up?
very,
Is
it's
it-
very rocky. It's,
Sorry?
it was, the house was built by my grandfather 68 years ago,
Okay,
so
when they didn't worry about it.
Okay, so really, your ability to put structures or a patio, a pool anywhere else on your property is limited because of the
Right,
topography
it's all
of
rock,
your...
yeah.
But you were able to get it in the ground,
I was
so-
able to get it in the ground, yeah. Ironically, my grandfather had a pool in the front yard, which I removed about 10, 15 years ago, so.
Okay. In this same location?
No, in the real front yard.
Oh,
His front yard.
that would have been the
Not our-
backyard, so it would have been okay.
Well, it would have been the other front yard. We have, depending on how
front
many
yard,
front
not
yards
our
there are.
front yard.
Yes.
Wow, okay. What is this hot tub?
The hot tub's going away.
Okay, good.
Shortly.
Thank you. That makes
That
it,
makes
that's
easier.
one less thing to worry about.
Maybe we can call that the front yard.
Where is the pool equipment?
Pool equipment is located, everything's within,
The area of the pool?
well, it's located on the map, but it's 30,
Is that the 30.4?
30.4, correct.
Got it, okay.
Must be this.
It's just showing, it's just labeled as a concrete patio. But it does, okay, the 30.4 has a line off to the side that says pool utility offset. All right, so in reference to your pool is 45.8 feet off. So it needed to be 50 feet, but that's really from the side yard, that's not from
Yeah,
the front.
we might be able to call that
We
a
might,
side
yeah,
yard.
because if you look at the 51.9 to the, what looks to be the corner of the pool, it might be,
That's from the front yard.
but it's just, the issue is that it's in the front yard. Doesn't matter the setback.
Right.
That's what the issue is.
Yeah.
Is it? Is the question.
But again, by virtue of the
Well, I mean,
way your house is situated, in this case, it probably makes
I
sense.
still even argue that, yeah.
Understood, but you didn't speak when we had the public hearing on what was a front yard, so you didn't help yourself then. So I think it probably still makes sense for this is probably the best place for it, so I think,
That's the problem with this. So we're saying the front yard because it's behind the rear line, in front of the rear line of the house. Mm-hmm. Now you have that jog there. You don't have the sunroom is going to stay? You're gonna get that taken care of?
Yeah, hopefully.
Because I could see, looking at that, it's set sort of behind the sunroom.
Yeah,
It's on the
that's
side lot.
that's screening it from the front,
Yeah.
from the roadway, so I hate, in this example, it makes sense.
She meets the,
Mary or Kara, comments?
This is the sunroom, right, here?
That room, yes. And so that's the pool.
It helped, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, that, the sunroom actually
It didn't help, but
helps create, it frankly creates a new front
a new line.
line of the house.
Yeah.
But if it was the original part of the house.
even that if you,
Yeah, it's a tough one. But given, I think, the nature of his lot, this probably, like I said, makes sense, so. You want to see what the neighbors, do your neighbors object to this? Is
Not that yeah.
it
I have one
functioning?
neighbor, I have basically one neighbor, we own everything else, so,
Is the pool functioning already or not yet?
yes.
Public hearing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Make a
Okay.
motion for a public hearing for our next meeting date of March 27th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
aye, so we'll see you next month.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
This is the front yard. Mr. Heitman, you need your signs, your notice, instructions for your signs. All right, item number 7, Appeal 3864 Survey, Jeffrey Survey, 15 Railroad Avenue, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 29-foot front line and a 12-foot sideline variance for a proposed 18-foot by 20-foot detached garage, a 19-foot sideline and a 7-foot rear line variance for an existing 10-foot by 10-foot shed, and a 40-foot front line variance for a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling. pursuant to Sections 194-107C, 194-107B1B, and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your house is in an I-2 zone, so you're actually in an industrial zone, but Railroad Avenue, yeah, that over there
unfortunately,
kind of makes
right.
sense. And so though, over there are smaller lots, because you...
Yeah, mine's actually the largest. On the,
Oh, okay, because it's
You got a big lot.
just the nature
Yeah.
of when those homes were
0.27,
built.
yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, and this is the only really feasible area, to put the structure.
okay, so... So you're dealing with your house, we're not going to make you move a house, so that, and they're a lot longer than,
Yeah, 1891, I believe the
Yeah,
structure was
so-
built, so.
your house is not, that's not at all the issue. A 10-foot by 10-foot shed, again, you have a very small, you have a larger lot for your neighbors, but
Right,
you have a
right, but
small lot, so
small,
your
right.
ability to put a shed is
Yeah, be in the middle of the yard.
very constrained.
Right.
And so for the detached garage, 18 by 20 is not large, so you're not asking for an oversized garage. Okay, so let's just look at your survey.
Does the garage go back and over? Is it,
What's that?
can it go back and over a little bit, or?
Well, it would butt up against the driveway.
You're bringing
You're
it to
bringing
the
it to the
blacktop now.
Correct, yes. And the right side of the property, I have the septic, so.
No. So you don't want to go back further because you already have a blacktop parking area? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yep, he's got less than 100 feet line there to his property line, so he really doesn't have a lot of yard.
It's not like this is a different kind of area.
Right. The one issue that we had come up, Tom, and you were not available, was the fact that the block walk and
Yeah,
part of the
it's into the
driveway
right-of-way, but those
are
are common.
beyond, okay,
Yeah,
they're
that's
they're
common.
beyond his property lines,
Yeah.
but as long as we're not worried about that, then.
It's sort of
Comments or
funny.
questions?
They must have gone to the middle of the road at one point and then they changed it or something.
Right. What's it gonna look like, and how tall is it gonna be?
It's going to be a standard size matching the decor of the house, pretty
Okay.
much.
And how tall?
Uh,
Is it only one story?
Yeah, it's only single story.
Okay. That's all I'm looking to understand. So,
Yeah, not going to go gigantic or anything.
motion to advertise?
So moved
Second.
for March
All in
27th.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so Pam will give you your instructions for your sign, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. If we're not done before 8 o'clock, we'll sign off on your certificates at 8 o'clock, guys, okay? Item number 8, Appeal 3865 Colella, Joseph Colella, 247 Rescue Road, Stormville, is requesting an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling in order to build a 28-foot by 24 attached garage and a 10-foot front line variance. This was added, by the way, just very recently, so it was added after the original agenda was posted. So, and a 10-foot front line variance for a proposed front porch pursuant to sections 194-121 and 194-17 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Hi.
Okay, so we all saw Mr. Colella recently because he lives in the house next door to this lot.
I do.
Apparently, this lot has been in your family, these 3 lots have been in your family for years.
Yep.
And so you've now dealt with issues on your property in terms of your detached garage and everything. And so now you're looking to clean up that house next door, the lot next door, potentially for your son's use or whatever. So we do have some pictures to show its current condition, and it obviously has been neglected for a little while.
Yeah.
So putting a porch, was there a porch there before? It looks like there was.
Yes, there
It looks like
was,
it's actually
and
attached.
We did the survey, and it was so overgrown that we didn't see it, and then we did the revisions, and it was covered in snow, and then I said, I was going over the plans and realized that the new house would have a porch, and that's going to be in violation, and now I realize that no matter what I do on these properties, I
Yes.
need
And
it.
that is,
So,
that's
now
the
I get
important
it.
thing to note.
yes, so there's actually 3 lots there that are all the same.
Okay, so the expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling, do you know when this house was built?
63.
Okay, when zoning only came into place in East Fishkill in 1963. So the fact that you already got a CO in 63 is, you pretty much pre-existed zoning. So,
Yeah.
so the existence of the home itself really, you know, shouldn't be subject to any concerns.
Right, we just kind of wanted to put a garage on it and make it a house, you know?
Okay, so you're now looking to add the proposed attached garage,
No, it's an attached,
sorry.
Yes.
The attached garage and the 10-foot front line variance for the front porch.
yes.
I think adding a front porch is going to improve the look of the house, and again, it was clear there was one there before. What is the size of the porch that you're proposing to add, though? You don't give us those dimensions.
It's 8, well, again, it's subject to final drawings, but it's about 8 by 15.
8 feet out?
Yes, off the house. 8 to 10 feet. Again, we can't,
Gotta tell us,
Yeah, you,
because
yeah, I understand that. And here's my whole thing is that I was told I need to come here before I can apply for the permit, for the building permit.
Right.
And I haven't designed the house yet, so it's kind of,
so you're not prepared to apply for a building permit because you need plans.
right, and but they told me I can't apply for a building permit until I get a variance from you guys that I
you
can
could-
build.
You could make the plans.
I'm sorry?
You could draw the plans up, or settle on how far you want your porch.
Okay, so
out.
I want it to come out 10 feet.
Okay, and if you only go out 8, then you're gonna be okay.
I'm sorry?
If you change your mind and only come out 8, you'll be okay.
What are you
Exactly.
What are you trying to accomplish with the front porch?
It's just-
Again, it's going to improve the look of it. Do you want to put some chairs on it? If you want some chairs,
Just a couple, it's like an entryway,
chairs have a physical dimension themselves, and
Right,
then you
so
need
it's-
room to walk around them. So 8
exactly.
feet makes
So
sense.
it's, and lumber comes 8 feet, so it's kind of, would be 8.
Planning enclosed front porch?
Yeah, with a porch on it, with a roof on it.
With a
Just to
roof on
dress
it,
up the front.
sides?
I'm sorry?
Sides too? or-
No, not enclose it, just a roof, an open,
Yeah, that's what I
Porch.
understood.
yeah,
Okay.
like an entryway.
Yeah.
You know,
When you say entryway, I think of something enclosed.
right. I mean, I have a picture what I envision, but there's like 4 or 5 houses in the area that look the same way as what I'm gonna do. Well, what I'm planning on doing.
Because the thing that, the dimension that shows 44 feet, that seems to me that you're talking 10 feet out on your survey, because your garage is 54 feet.
Well, the house is, the foundation that's there now is only 24 feet wide, so we were gonna cantilever 2 feet with the house.
Okay.
And then put the 8-foot deck on, so that's actually 10 feet off the house.
That's what I said. Your
Right.
dimension is showing 10 feet off
Correct.
for the porch.
So that's what
Yeah.
we're proposing right now.
Okay. And on the survey that you gave us, it shows that the garage that's there and the shed that on the property are both being
That's going,
removed.
yeah.
That's fine.
It's gonna be in the way, and it's falling down.
Which is, I mean, the way it's drawn is a little confusing to me, because the remains of the old porch were 45, okay, that makes sense, 45 feet away, so you're also basically in compliance with what
Was there
was
originally.
there originally, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Difference of 1 foot.
Concerns or questions?
No,
Motion to advertise?
so moved for March 27th.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, so we'll see you next month. Pam will give you your instruction for your signs.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 9, Appeal 3866. Sorry, I don't want to say the name wrong. Patrizba? Bernard Patrizba? What? Oziba, thank you. 1 Charles Lane, Rhinebeck is requesting a 4-foot front line and a 14-foot rear line variance for a proposed 6-foot by 8-foot covered entryway in a pre-existing building at 566 Route 82, Hopewell Junction, pursuant to Section 194-17 of the zoning ordinance. Oh, okay, this is the building that's next to the pizza, Simone's Pizza, that plaza there, that burned down. Okay, come on up to the microphone if you don't mind. So this is the monument the
Bowery
building that was
Bowery
the-
Memorials, yes.
Okay, yes, okay. So pretty much you're just looking to restore the building that was there, but you're
Yes.
looking to put a covered entryway on the side,
Correct.
just to make a covered entryway and to make the actual building look better there,
Well-
so,
Well, the building was there, the existing entrance
Right.
was faced Route 82.
right.
And it was far away from the parking area, and it was dangerous because we're so close to the road.
Okay,
And it wasn't nice looking.
can you tell me accessibility? Is this going to be at grade? Is it going to be a step up? Is it going to be a ramp? How are you
There
going
will
to
have
deal?
to be a ramp from the
Okay.
parking area to the porch. The elevation's about 16 inches down, so there'll
Okay,
have to be a
we did notice there was an elevation difference there from,
Correct.
certainly from Route 82 and then back to your,
Because you're
Route
parking-
82, there's no elevation difference. Route 82 is, it's pretty
Yeah.
level. But the
But your
the parking
is
area
Parking
elevated.
area.
is about
yeah.
2 steps up,
Yeah.
yes.
okay. Yeah, probably the ones to the right, Simone's has more of a grade change over there from there, okay.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, no, that's okay, I'm just picturing this area over there. Okay, so as long as you're going to deal with accessibility issues, I don't see that you're just really replacing the building as it was and giving it an accessible entryway, covered,
Putting a
accessible.
much nicer building up than was
Yeah.
there, yes.
I like that little place.
So, motion for public hearing?
So moved for March 27th.
All in favor? Aye. So Pam will give you the instructions. Keep Axon to Helen Road. Does he need 2 signs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes, please. Okay, and last, item number 10, Appeal 3867 Tucker, Scott Tucker, 109 Route 216, Stormville, is requesting a special permit to bring in 20,000 yards of fill in order to bring his lot on Seaman Road up to grade to prevent flooding as it is used for farming purposes pursuant to Section 194-75. Good evening. So, particularly for the students that are in the back of the room, there is a limit as to how much fill any person can bring into their lot on any given year. And so you are going to exceed the 375 cubic yards that's allowed. What's the type of farming you're proposing to do here? Crops or?
This whole surrounding area is corn and hay.
Okay,
This one area right in the center, I used to run cattle.
Right.
And it was okay for that.
Yep.
I got rid of all the animals in 1991. But in the springtime, you cannot plow that. It's just, in the summertime, you can drive across it okay, but I wanted to bring it up about 2 feet to grade with the rest of the land around it, 2 or 3 feet.
okay. You don't really have neighbors over here.
There is no neighbors there though.
Right, exactly. There's not, so in terms of noise,
The only thing is, there's drainage that comes from the prison on the east end, and that ditch is there, and there's a culvert to go across to go into the back fields, and I want to leave that just like it is.
okay,
you
so
know.
you're going to leave that kind of like
That
a
whole
drainage
thing,
swale
yeah.
in the middle there?
Yes.
Okay,
You're going to wind up having to put in a new pipe there. It's kind of getting kind of,
okay. Again, I don't see any concerns with this. We're looking to keep farming in town, so,
Yeah. Do we have to consider the conditions, though? I mean, I'm
well,
considering
hours
it,
are,
yeah.
the hours and the days of the week that the fill will be coming in
we have daytime hours
Okay.
during the week.
during the week, so not
And
weekends?
it's coming, they can't come under the trestle, and they're not going to go for the development. They're going to come from South Greenhaven Road. It's only about 3/4 of a mile from there.
Oh, so you even know where you're getting the fill from?
Well, where they're going to be coming in.
Okay,
Now, the fill's coming from this contractor, a couple of different areas.
okay,
But I've been really worried because I've seen other people have problems with getting contaminated soil.
yes,
Every load is going to be
Has to be
tested.
tested.
And I even had, he just got a hold of me and gave me the meter that they'll be using. There's going to be a tree on site. And every load will be tested. If it doesn't pass in the driveway, they send it back to where it came from.
good. No, I'm glad somebody's giving you
I've
good
heard
advice
horror
there.
stories about
so.
getting contaminated soil and stuff like that.
Don't need that.
They
Don't
previously
that.
put somewhere to do in the Animal Rescue Foundation. They're putting in an animal rescue place on South Greenhaven Road.
Okay,
And it's the same people that put that fill in there, and it looks beautiful.
Good. Okay, well, yeah, because you want something that you can use to grow
It's nice. I mean,
your crops in. Okay, and again, there's really, you have no neighbors, so in terms of the impact to the community, it's very going to be minimal. So do I have a motion to schedule this for public hearing?
So moved for March 27th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Pam will give you your instructions. Signs on this lot. I mean, again, he's got no neighbors really, so,
Maybe put two in the front or something like that.
yeah, maybe that's it.
someday we might put solar fields up.
Oh,
We already
wow.
looked at it once with one company.
Okay.
But I'm right now in contract alone, they're gonna be about 4 or 5 years to set it up.
Okay.
But eventually, there'll be 60 acres of that up on the hill behind where we're selling.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
No more bison?
Now, I get tired of chasing around the
A big animal.
Yep. All right, motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Come on up.